My parents separated when I was 13, and at 15, my younger brother and I were sent to California to live with our mother. We weren't enrolled in school, and we lived in a small gated community, so we didn't really get to meet very many people. We were so homesick that we ended up returning back to the UK after just 4 months. Now I'm a parent myself, and I've migrated. I realise how tough it must have been for my mother to move to another country alone, send for her children, only for them to return back to the UK 4 months later. Moving to another country almost always means leaving someone you love behind. No wonder so many migrants dream of reuniting with their families.
In Malaysia, we have 3 main races, the Malay, the Chinese, and the Indians, and I was the 3rd generation of Chinese Malaysian. If you look at some Chinese books, you would be able to see they've got different virtues on a list. Top of the rank of the list of virtues in Chinese culture is filial piety. It means respect and love towards your parents unconditionally. When we were young, my parents did push us hard because my parents were not very educated themselves. My parents were basically a typical middle-class family. So they worked very hard, for all their lives. So they would like to see us do better than them. I remember there was one incident that I am not very proud of. I made a mistake at school. Being 14 at that time, we were joking around with friends and we had a saying, 白痴, 白痴 in Chinese means moron. So we just say to each other, with friends, with classmates. And in the classroom, I was goofing around at the back. My friend told me, hey, the teacher has been calling you. I thought, moron, just like a sign, moron. And the teacher actually heard me and thought that I should say that to him. I think a week later, I received a letter to my parents, but my parents were always busy. They were not home sometimes. So we get to take the mail from the mailbox, and I intercepted that letter. I knew it was coming because I had already been disciplined at school. So I opened the letter and I read it, and my heart sank. This is in Chinese, okay? It's a 通知家长严谨管教子弟书. So it's basically a notice from school urging the parents to discipline their children a bit more strictly. I was taught to be filial, to be respectful to my parents. Thought, they would probably slap me or they might keep me grounded or cane me. But there was nothing compared to me knowing that I've hurt their feelings. I've lost a trust with them. So I did hide it in my bedroom for I think about a month before I finally plucked up enough courage to tell them the truth and show them the letter. When I showed them the letter, my mom and dad, they were shocked. They couldn't believe what I've done. But at the same time, my mom asked me, what happened? And they let me explain myself. And of course they say that, you were being silly and this is not acceptable. You let yourself down. You led yourself into this situation. So you could have avoided the situation, but you didn't, and you were being silly. So that was bad enough. So you deserve it. Don't you do this again. So this letter, it is something that I keep to remind myself. I have to be responsible for my action, and something that now I would like to teach my sons and my students. Becoming a teacher, to me, is like a destiny. Right, I'm going to read you some text in Chinese, and then I'm going to read to you the English translation. 弟子规. 弟子 means students, 规. I try to bring as much of my culture as I can into my classroom when I teach, to share with them a lot of the Chinese virtues in the Confucius kind of thinking. I see values very important, a critical part of learning, and I always enforce in treating the mind and the hearts first before you gain knowledge. And we have a Chinese saying, 先学做人，后求学问. Be a person first, learn to be a person first, then only you gain knowledge. I always tell my class, it's not a matter of how you fall, it's more a matter of how you get back up. It's one big watermelon, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
One big
watermelon,
cut
in half, one side for you, and one side for me.
Well, he's really fun and he makes everything like more fun and like more of an activity rather than work.
He's very passionate about things and he's got a really cheerful personality.
Mr. Choong is inspiring to us students because he just teaches just in a brilliant way and he involves his culture in learning.
It does make me smile when I look back and see how naughty I was, you know, all the mistakes I made. When I can see it in the children, and sometimes I feel like that actually makes me real, and that makes it easier for me to relate to them. And I do think that how I have gone through my past has helped me how to deal with the children these days.